Welcome to Tony's Cool Tools Winter Edition. It's December, and as you can see, it's snowing here. How appropriate is it to have a talk about snow removal? I know a bunch of you have already been doing it for years, but I may show you a few things here that'll make it easier and simpler for you to do. For the majority of my adult life, I lived in a subdivision. I had a 24 by 50 driveway, and I had a small snow slapper snow blower that did me very well, along with my shovel. That's all I needed. But when I retired and moved to Wisconsin, I found a house that had a 600-foot winding driveway. Now I had to change my process. And going on my 5th season, I've gotten better at snow removal, cutting my time down and being more proficient. And I'll show you how. I'll have some tips and techniques as well. And yes, it is beaver wearing hat day. The temperatures here with the wind chill are between 10 and 20 degrees, and I'm toasty warm. And if you're interested in getting one of these, I'll let you know at the end. In my opinion, the first thing you have to do is have a plan. Firstly, where do you want the snow to go? And remember, with global warming, just like New York, Buffalo, New York, that got 70+ inches, you have to have a place to put this stuff. Remember, it's not the first snowfall, but all the subsequent ones you have to think about as well. So remember that. And here's what I mean. On my driveway here, I have enough room on this side here to push the snow further and further. But on this side here, I have very little. So I have to move everything from this side over. And that could cause me a problem when I get too much snow. And remember, whether you're using a snow plow, pusher, or snow blower, there's different ways of handling this. So areas like this, where there's virtually no room on either side, I have to remember that if I keep pushing it high, there won't be anywhere for me to go. So I've got to consider different options, and I'll show you those shortly. When I purchased my first tractor, a New Holland 1925, this was one of the accessories that came with it. And the homeowner had done snow removal on his property with this. So I figured I already have it covered. And I started using it, and it's good. I flip this around, as you can see, and I push the snow with it. And the issue is that this blade is only 15 inches. So anything higher just comes right over, so you constantly keep pushing this snow over and over. So that's a problem. The other issue, which there's no getting around it, is you're facing backwards the whole time. And it's not comfortable if you have to do a lot of snow removal. But it is what it is. It did work for a couple of years for me, 2-3 years, and I was very happy with it. It helped me until I found something else. And this unit is not heavy duty, so this blade can bend very easily if I hit something. The other thing is, I have to manually pull this pin and move this blade left or right or straight across horizontally like this every time I'm finished, because I'm trying to do windrows and then at the end push everything over. So that's how this one works. The next option we're going to be covering is the loader bucket. And it all depends on how big your tractor is. Mine happens to be 66 inches wide. Now you can get 72 or even bigger, 8 feet. And then the consideration is how much depth that you have here. But before we go into the loader bucket, I'm going to discuss a feature that you have that most of you are aware of. Now the feature that I'm referring to is this float function all the way at the top. For over 2 years being a newbie, I did not know that I had a float function. When I found it, I thought I went to heaven. And all you do is push it forward, and it allows the bucket to travel over your surface and not gouge or dig in. Way cool feature on a tractor. Now for a long time I used the loader bucket and it was fantastic. The only issue is this part here fills up and then all you're doing is pushing that snow over. I like using this when I use my plow and I get it very high. I use this to stack the snow 10 to 12 feet high and make snow mounds. So I keep moving the snow over. I told you I was going to give you a tip. Here's tip number 1. I would typically use fluid film, which a number of you that watch my channel know I love this stuff because of the lubricity. It's just awesome. Plus it helps prevent rust. The other thing is, if you take and you use silicone, regardless of what kind, get the cheapest silicone that you can, spray your bucket before you plow, you won't believe how clean it will be at the end. And what happens after we do a lot of it and we just put it away, you don't have a heated pole barn or anything, is you develop ice chunks in here, and then you have less and less space. Now you will have to use this after each snowstorm because it does wear out, but it's super cheap. I was buying this at $2.25 a can, and this can would last me 2 to 3 snowstorms. Okay, here's tip number 2. I found this company, it's called Edge Tamer. And what this allows you to do is to place this accessory on here, screw this down, and then this travels on the ground. So even though you have floats, sometimes it digs in. With this, no matter how hard you push down, you will lift the tractor up and your wheels won't be touching, but you're not gonna tear the ground up or the grass. I used it for a few years before I switched to a plow. But as you can see from the bottom, it only wears at the shoe part right here. Really cool when you don't want to dig into your driveway if you have gravel or if you have dirt. I apologize for the wind. However, let's discuss material buckets and snow pushers. A material bucket is nothing more than a loader bucket, and it has a lot more volume that you could pick up. They are very nice, and I'd like to pick up a used one if I could find one in the area here. As far as pushers are concerned, they are awesome. If you're talking about hard surfaces like asphalt or concrete, they are awesome pushing it on that flat surface. I find that on gravel, sometimes they're not as good, but they do work fantastic to move a lot of snow quickly. For those of you that watch Chris in the woodyard, you see how he uses his pusher in his woodyard. And yes, if you watch my Wednesday video on affordable work shoes, I have been wearing my Hesea work boots. And they have been working very well so far. Cross my fingers that they last long. Now the next option we're going to cover is the 3-point snowblower. It's invaluable for deep snow. I have 600 feet of driveway, so when we get a 6 to 8 inch snowfall, I have to move that snow somewhere. I can't just keep pushing it and building the sides higher and higher, because then I won't have any place to put it. This is where this snowblower pays for itself. I purchased it at an auction for $800. It's one of the best deals I ever found. They do make these for the front of the tractor, but they are much more expensive than the 3-point ones in the rear. The only problem with the rear is naturally you're always looking over your shoulder when you're doing snow plowing. So you get a neck ache after a while. And you can't move super fast because the snow has to auger in and then go through that 24-inch opening before it shoots out the front. They do make a hydraulic chute, but I have the manual one where I can just move it side to side. It's pretty easy, and I can usually reach over and grab it from the driver's seat. This is another accessory that I spray the heck out, especially the chute here with silicone, because it doesn't stick and it shoots it further. I'm not saying I saved the best to the last, but I made a decision not to put a plow on my truck. But I did put it on my Kubota 900 UTV, and it handles it perfectly. It does need ballast in the back, and I'll show you. I use water softener bags. They're 40 pounds, and I put 10 of them in the back. And that gives me 400 pounds of ballast for pushing, and it works beautiful. Now, I'm not saying that the other options like the back blade or the loader bucket wouldn't work, but I've cut my time in half on snow removal by using the Boss plow. As you can see, I have it tipped now, so I'm close to the garage, but I push everything and windrows out. The other neat feature is the hand control. I can operate it right from the steering wheel without having to move. And after plowing snow directionally to this side, I can put this in a V form and just scoop it all the way to the end, which makes it a very clean plow and extremely fast. And if you're interested in one of these beaver hats, let me know in the comments and I'll give you the contact information for Kenny Carlson, Chris's brother in the woodyard. He makes these things. And as I said, super, super warm hat. And as a heads up, the next video I'll have information on a giveaway that we'll be doing in December. Well, I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. And if so, would you please like, share, and subscribe? And also give me a thumbs up. And remember, pass it forward. Make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Thanks. Until I see you next time, have a great day.